Hello and welcome to Horror Rewind. This is Kelly Florence.
This is Mark Florence.
And this is Campbell Florence.
And today we're recording on The Witch and Rare Exports. Happy Christmas Eve, happy Hanukkah, happy Kwanzaa, happy every holiday that you are celebrating. We have watched some amazing horror movies and we are living our best lives. We're in quarantine, as is everyone. And you know what? Let's celebrate art and movies, right? Yeah. Guys?
Yeah.
Full disclosure, it's November 18th, I believe. 17th?
It's the 18th.
18th. We do have our Christmas tree up, and we're in the holiday spirit. So happy holidays to everybody out there.
Yep, happy holidays.
All right, so first, we are going to talk about The Witch. This movie came out in 2015, and it was directed and written by Robert Eggers, who, if you know anything about us, you know that we freaking love Robert Eggers. He did The Lighthouse, which is like next level. And also, like, fun fact. Okay, wait. Before I do the fun fact. It had a budget of $4 million and the box office was $40.4 million. But here's the fun fact. This movie stars Anya Taylor-Joy, who is the lead in my current favorite television series. Mark, do you want to talk about it?
The Queen's Gambit. It's a great show. I highly recommend it. It's about a woman who comes up through the chess ranks in like the 60s and 70s. It's very good. I won't give any spoilers, but I do recommend it.
Please. Watch The Queen's Gambit. I think it's it is. I'm not even going to I think that. It's one of my top 5 favorite television series of this year, which is saying a lot because it's 2020 and 2020 is garbage.
It's also inspired me to start playing chess again, so I downloaded the chess app on my phone where I play the computer. And then when I make a bad move, I can undo the move and make the proper move. So thank you.
All right. So The Witch. Mark, you said something the other day, which I was like, yeah, basically. This is 100% not great, Bob.
So I don't want to be Debbie Downer because I do like the film a lot, but there is not one positive, funny, happy moment in this entire film. It's all doom and gloom. It's all dank, cold. Everything is awful. So pretty much summarizes 2020.
Campbell, what's your opinion of the film?
Yeah, they've already said, yeah, not very happy. Not a lot of good stuff happens. It's not like everything goes good and then it goes bad. Immediately in the first scene, everything starts going bad.
So, fun fact, as we were watching this as a trio, I was like, the dad is Finchy from the British Office. And Mark doubted me, but I Googled it and my greatest memory, it's like stuck in my brain, is Finchy Laga. And guess what? It was Finchy from the British Office. Like, how do you feel about that, Mark?
The saddest part to me about this film was that Finchy was not able to have any Laga because he lived out on a farm with his family where their corn crops wouldn't grow. And there was demons haunting them. So I feel like he could have used some Laga. He turned to religion a lot, but a little Laga might have helped as well, Finchy. So what I was going to say earlier when I was talking about the doom and gloom and everything is that how easy do people have it now in like 2020 versus, what is this, the 1700s? I mean, how hard would it have been to live back then where you're literally working your ass off every day, you're scraping by, you're growing your own crops.
You're being accused of being a witch.
You're being accused of being a witch when you may or may not be a witch. You know, you have your animals, you got to take care of your animals so you get milk and like meat and stuff. It's like, this is not an easy existence. And like, I feel like we don't appreciate like the creature comforts now. Like, oh, my furnace is broken or my phone is dead. It's like, come on, you have it so easy.
This movie, when it came out, this is my guilty admission. I did not appreciate it at the time because it was before I was fully aware of like how amazing it was. And Robert Eggers is, as I've said, like next level. And so freaking peekaboo moment with Anya Taylor-Joy and the baby. She's like, peekaboo, and then she'd cover her eyes and then see the baby again and peekaboo. And Campbell said,
I bet one of the times she's going to open her eyes and the baby will be gone. And then it was gone.
And yeah, it was next level. And like, okay, actually that is creepy AF. And yike, it happened. And guess what? The witch, churned the baby in a butter churner thing. Yeah. And like, gross.
Yeah, I mean, that was at the very beginning, and it was like, it was very disturbing. It was like this naked old witch, like, churning a baby and, like, rubbing the blood and stuff all over them. It was not a feel-good scene.
And so, listen, I just read a tweet today about how a naked old woman on film, in horror specifically, is treated as grotesque. And so that's problematic because we should normalize like naked old people as just like, guess what? This is reality. So that's all I'm saying.
So yeah, I did want to comment, and we were talking about this throughout the film. How good is the writer,
Robert Eggers?
Robert Eggers at dialogue. Like, he, in The Lighthouse and in this movie, he's like so good at like the dialect of the time. It's like, hey, went out to the wood yestermorn, and like it's like all this like really specific dialogue, which I think would be almost impossible to like write. So kudos to Robert.
Yeah. Do you know? And I've already tweeted this, so if you follow us on Twitter, my favorite character in this series is Black Phillip. And I've tweeted this, but I'm saying he's the GOAT, greatest of all time, and he's actually a GOAT!
Yeah, we had a discrepancy of if First of all, we had a discrepancy if Black Phillip was named Black Peter or Black Phillip, because Kelly kept saying Black Peter.
Sorry.
But it was Black Phillip. But then, like, the closed captioning said it was it said it was a sheep. It said it was a sheep, but we later found out it was a goat and the goat. So, Black Phillip is a goat and also the goat.
Campbell, how do you feel about Black Phillip?
He's awesome.
See? No. And I told you both the other night, and if you don't remember this, but like, P.S. it's Christmas Eve right now, and if neither of you bought me the Black Phillip Funko Pop, you've failed me as a human being.
Well, seeing that it's November 18th, I will definitely get you that. I
guess what? We'll figure it out.
Once I find out what a Funko Pop is.
Yeah, he's so lame, you guys. He's so old. Campbell knows, right, Campbell?
Yeah, it's like how do you describe it? It's kind of like an action. It's like an I know what it is. It's hard to describe. It's like an action figure of I guess, or like an action figure of a character from from like a movie or video game or TV series.
Wow, I'm literally pointing to Funko Pops in the room we are in, and Mark's like, wait, what?
Well, that brings me to my next point. The mom in this movie was the breastfeeding mom or queen lady from Game of Thrones, so I want a Funko Pop of the breastfeeding mom from Game of Thrones.
That's super gross, but also, no, that's true. And Robin was the child she was breastfeeding, and like gross, but also like, of course. So we have Finchy and we have breastfeeding mom from Game of Thrones, and we have
Queen's Gambit.
Anya Taylor-Joy from Queen's Gambit. So it's bringing all of our worlds together. Like, this movie is next level. And also, those twins, Campbell, they were problematic, right?
Yeah, they were very evil. They made some like demonic friendship with Black Phillip.
And I was just gonna say, like you just said, we had Finchy, we had the Game of Thrones breastfeeding mom, we had Queen's Gambit. So the other two characters were these two twins, and they did a great job, I felt like. Very believable, and like you kind of like didn't like them because they were just like annoying. But they did a good job with that. And then the other son was just some random kid, right?
Yeah, and also great. Like, this cast is 100% next level. Like, everyone is great.
And then now that I'm looking at my notes, there was also a breastfeeding scene.
Oh yeah.
Was it the breastfeeding Game of Thrones mom? So she's typecast as a breastfeeder in these shows, but it was actually like a crow was breastfeeding on her, and she turned out to be like bleeding from the nipple. So a lot of the themes in this movie are about like religion and witchcraft, and like because that's why they got kicked out of their church and colony and got like shunned off to this land where the crops wouldn't grow and all this stuff went bad. So what are your thoughts on witchcraft? Like, do you believe in it, or what do you think?
No, I think witchcraft was invented to shame women, and males, sorry you two, who we are all recording, was invented in order to give men an excuse to be afraid of women. And so, feminism equals witch. And yeah, guess what? I will claim to be a witch right now because it would make men nervous, or in the day. That's what I'm saying. And witchcraft may or may not exist. That's my caveat right now. But no, it mainly makes men nervous. So yeah, I'll claim to be a witch if it makes you nervous.
I'm really nervous right now. But yeah, I mean, it seemed like kind of like a scapegoat thing for like maybe like stuff's going wrong or like you're a little different. So, and then like you said, if a woman tries to like do anything, especially, obviously back then, they were just like, they didn't know what to do or whatever. So they just like said they're a witch. So
Campbell, have you learned about the Salem witch trials yet?
Not like officially, but I know about it.
And so that's the same thing, don't you think?
Pretty much.
I'm just gonna call her the Queen's Gambit.
Anya Taylor-Joy, ... winner of this year's Emmy for Best Actress.
Yeah, but I don't know her name in this fine film. Anyway, so the whole thing was like the deck was stacked against her because I in my opinion, she was not a witch, and she wasn't a witch, but all these things kept happening. Like she tried to scare her twin siblings, saying she was a witch and she was going to do the stuff to them to like make them stop misbehaving. And then her brother was actually going to go out into the woods to like save the family. So she went with him and all the stuff went bad and he disappeared. But so everything that happened made it seem like she was the witch, but she really wasn't. But at the end, she ended up having to like kill her mom, right? And how did the dad die? I can't remember. But anyway.
Campbell knows.
Black Phillip. Black Phillip rammed the dad with his horns and then did a dance.
So it looked, all the evidence kept looking bad against the Queen's Gambit. So in the end, it was just her and Black Phillip left on their little homestead, and she's like, "I summon you to speak" or something, and all of a sudden the Black Phillip goat starts talking to her, and it turns out he is like a demon or whatever, and
or the devil,
and leads her out into the woods to join up with these other witches. So that was quite the turn of events.
There's also a pesky rabbit. Which, Campbell, do you remember the pesky rabbit?
Yeah, I remember the pesky rabbit. At the beginning of the movie, they go out hunting. And they see the rabbit, and then the dad tries to shoot it with their like 20-foot long gun. It's not actually 20 feet, but it might as well be 20 feet long for how long it is. And it misfires, and he gets like powder burn or something on like the side of his cheek and his eye.
Yeah, so every time this rabbit appears, like all the other... So animals appear to be able to like sense the danger, but the humans can't. So.
But also I think that's real because here's a little story. 20 years ago, this is showing my age. I mean, unless you all thought I was 19. 20 years ago, I went to a friend's house and they had or still have, I don't know, a dog that was like 90% wolf. And they said to me before I came over, he can sense people's auras and vibes. And so if you're evil, this is weird. I'm sorry. He said, like, this dog is, wolf and husky and whatever. He can sense your aura. And if you're evil, like, you can't come into our house. And so I'm like, oh, wow, wait, what? And guess what? I went over and he sniffed me and he's like, you can enter.
I've had the opposite experience a couple times. For whatever reason, some dogs just hate me. So
that means you're evil. Campbell, what do you think?
I don't know, maybe.
So, that dog did not attack me, and I'm not saying that that's like the official jury verdict on my personality, but Mark, what do you think?
I was just going to share. So, yeah, I mean, that's great for you that dogs love you, but just a couple quick stories on dogs that hated me. Meg, who is on the podcast, husband Luke's mom had a Boston Terrier, which just hated me from the second I met it. And it literally jumped down a flight of stairs, like trying to attack me. But I like dodged it. But it tried to bite me and like attack me and stuff. So, and then another time, a Rottweiler who had puppies, like I was trying to go to the bathroom, walked past the dog, and it just started growling at me. So I'm a nice guy, and I like dogs and stuff, but I don't know, maybe they can just sense my true self. I don't know.
Campbell, has any dog affronted you?
I don't think so.
Guess what? He's a better person than you are.
I will give a shout out to my sister Beth though, because Our dog, Bucky, is a pretty calm dog.
He's totally chill.
And the only person he's ever nipped at or tried to bite is my sister. So she, to her defense, she tried to, like, I don't know what she was doing, but she, like, grabbed his back leg, and he didn't know she was there, and he kind of, like, went back and nipped her. So sorry, Beth.
Aw, Beth. All right, what else do we need to say about The Witch?
So my only last note I have here is that, like, near the beginning, the I don't know, he was like probably 12 or 13-year-old kid was kind of like looking at his sister's, like, her, like, cleavage. And then when he was out in the woods lost and he came upon the witch's house, he saw this, like, beautiful woman walk out of the house, and she had, like, a really, like, low-cut shirt on, like, showing her cleavage. So, I mean, it's like a witch will entice you with, like, your weakness or what they think will work for you. But then at the very end of the scene, they showed her hand. Like, they started kissing, right? And he was, like, 13, and she was, like, whatever, like, 20-something. But then they showed her hand come up, and it was, like, this old, gangly hand. So it was, like, an old witch who had become younger from the baby.
Let's rank this movie on a scale of 0 to 10. 0 being you hated it. 10 being you think it's a perfect movie. What's our scale? It's got to be Black Phillips, right?
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, I was going to say that.
How many Black Phillips do you The Witch? Here's Campbell.
I think, let me think. I'll give it 8.
Here's Mark.
So I enjoyed the film. I'm going to give it... I also give it 8. I liked it a lot, but, like, I like a movie with, like, an arc of, like, happiness or some kind of humor at some point, and then everything turns bad. And, like, when it's bad from the go and then it just gets worse, it's pretty depressing. It was super depressing. The dad was trying everything to keep his family going. It just seemed like he was cursed. Ha ha ha. But yeah, it just seemed like nothing went well for this family. They ended up all dying and killing each other, and then the only surviving person became a witch. So, I mean, but that being said, I enjoyed the movie, and great dialogue, great dialect, great writing, great directing, great cinematography, because you felt like very, like, into the whole thing, and, like, it just felt like very depressing. So, but in a good way.
Okay, I get it. But also, P.S. I appreciate this movie, as I've said, more now than I did when I saw it in the theater at 9 a.m. when I watched it with friends, when we could do that in a theater, and it's 10 out of 10. Robert Eggers is a gift, and this movie is a gift. And also, if you haven't read our books, we wrote about this. So, get The Science of Monsters, get The Science of Women in Horror, get The Science of Stephen King, and pre-order our next book, The Science of Serial Killers, and look at our takes on classic and modern horror movies. I freaking loved it. Okay, here we go. Meg is going to talk about what she's read recently. Take it away.
Hey, it's another installment of Meg's Spooky Books. I'm so happy to have you here, and I know you're going to love this recommendation this week. So, this is an independent book by a smaller publisher called Off Limits Press. And full disclosure, I do know the woman who runs Off Limits Press. But I had not read anything from their publishing company yet, and I kept seeing on Twitter everywhere people were losing their minds over this novella that they published called Crossroads by Laurel Hightower. And I've never read anything by Laurel Hightower. Like I said, I've never read anything from their press. And I just couldn't get away from all the good reviews. People were just continually talking about how awesome this book was. And being that, it's horror and it was written by a woman and it's a novella, so it's not like as big of an investment because, sometimes you never know if you're going to like something. I was like, okay, I'm going to go for it. I gotta read this and find out what all the fuss is about. So I went into it with very high expectations because, again, people were just marveling over it. And I have to say, even though I went into it with really high expectations, I still enjoyed the heck out of it. It's so good. It is the kind of horror I like because it's about a woman who is going through a lot. Her teenage son has passed away in a terrible car accident. And I believe it's 2 years before this that he died. And so she's still, or maybe even just a year. So she's still really grappling with, his death. And first of all, it's written very well. I definitely am going to search out more by Laurel Hightower. And actually now I've read another short story of hers since then. And that too was very good. So I'm definitely a new fan. But what makes this book, I think, resonate with so many people is it has a lot to do with parenthood and motherhood. And that's something that, maybe isn't always expressed in cinema as far as horror is concerned. A lot of times the characters they focus on, are high school students or college students. And so motherhood's not always explored so much. And it is done so deftly and so with so much empathy by somebody who you can tell understands motherhood, is a mother. And the characters are so vivid. The world, it's a very insular sort of world. It happens all, kind of in this grieving mother's life. And I know when I keep saying grieving and motherhood, it's like, oh wow, that sounds like a lot of fun. But it really is. It's scary, which is not easy to do. And I would know. It is scary and it is unnerving, and you can't put it down because it's compelling. So give Crossroads a try. I don't want to give anything else away. I just know you're going to enjoy it. It has such a unique voice, and it really, I think, struck a chord with everybody who read it, which I think is interesting because obviously it's touching upon more than just motherhood, because I've certainly seen plenty of men and people who don't have kids enjoy it. So I think that it's not only, scary, that we can all agree that, and well written, but there's some emotional resonance there that is striking chords with everyone. I know people, have said they cried reading it. So if you're looking for kind of an emotional horror experience and you appreciate well-written stories, I very much think that you should check out Crossroads by Laurel Hightower. You can find it pretty much anywhere, I believe. Go on Amazon. You can go to Off Limits Press. It's in paperback. The cover is beautiful too. That's another nice little added bonus. And, I think I have to say I don't really read that many novellas. I'm kind of a short story girl or a novel girl. So it was actually kind of a pleasant surprise to read something that was in the middle. It's just kind of this nice little treat in between big novels, It's just a great read, and I couldn't encourage you more. Please check out Crossroads.
All right. It's Christmas Eve. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Happy Hanukkah. All of this. We watched Rare Exports. Campbell and I watched it for the second/third time. His second, my third. And Mark watched it for the first time last night. Campbell, give us the deets.
All right, I have it here on my phone. It had a 90% on Rotten Tomatoes. Let's see what else. Yeah, it was rated R. Oh yeah.
You shouldn't have watched it.
Sorry. A unique thing about this movie is it's in Finnish and it has English subtitles. Directed by I don't know how to say this name. I can't.
Show me.
My Finnish is not that good. I can't read Finnish names. Jalmari Hellander.
Yep.
Petri.
We don't need everybody.
Korki. All right. Yeah. Well, directed by
Just say when it was
Jalmari Hellander. Yeah. And released in 2010.
Okay.
And then streaming 2017.
Does it say how much money it made?
The gross in the USA was $263.2K.
$263,000? Not great, Bob.
No, actually, that's good for a Finnish release. Right, friends?
Yes.
Okay, so Rare Exports was recommended to me because it's a Finnish, which I am 100% Finnish and Campbell is 51% Finnish, horror movie. And it's about an evil Santa. But actually, like, is it Santa or is it an elf? Like, tell me, Mark. Remind me.
Well, the guy that they end up catching or finding is an elf of... I don't even know what this, like, main creature thing is, but...
It's Santa.
The thing with the big horns?
Yeah, that's
Yeah, it's like Krampus, but it's Santa.
it's big.
I thought that was Black Phillip.
Wow, theme.
Yeah, so, no, that was just an elf, but he had, like, superhuman strength, and he was, like, mean, so... But I don't know if this is the right way to, like, introduce the movie, but that's the question, so, yeah.
The reason I love this, obviously, like, 100%, number one, it's Finnish. Number two, it's doing a new play on, like, Santa, which is like, whoa, that's awkward and, you know, whatever. And also about Finland, like, they're on the border of Finland and Russia. So, Campbell, this is like dealing with politics and all of those things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they were, like, crossing into Russia. That's where, like, they were, like, and also, like, environmental issues, because they were, like, drilling down to, like, mine for, I don't know what, but...
They were mining for Santa. The guy, like, this rich dude figured out that Santa was there, and he wanted to get Santa. So he sent, like, this big drill there. Well, to this mountain, which was a man-made mountain, because they said the story is that back in, I guess, I don't know, a long time ago, the Sami people, who were the indigenous people of, I guess, northern Scandinavia, pretty much they were kind of fed up with Santa putting these kids in, like, boiling pots and stuff. So they lured him out onto the ice. I don't think they said, but they lured him out onto the ice of this lake. And then he's so big that it broke under him. And then when it came summer, they carved out the ice. And then they just put a bunch of stuff on top of it for a long time to make a mountain, pretty much.
Wow, that was a great synopsis. Yeah, so, I mean, the theme in this, I guess, is that Santa is not this, like, lovable, like, mall guy you sit on his lap and tell him what you want, who brings you all your stuff for Christmas. He's actually a guy who, like, comes to your house if you're bad and...
Boils you alive,
or, like, kidnaps you, or, like, does bad stuff to you. So, I mean, different things, different incentives, like, for different people, but... yeah, so it's a different take on the whole Santa Claus thing.
Also, this is similar to Krampus, which we reviewed previously, Campbell and I. And so, you know, check out that episode. But yeah, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Holidays. Like, wow. Okay, what else do you have to say about this movie?
They did a really good job of like capturing like Finland, I feel like, and like especially in the winter where it's just like pitch black all the time and it's just kind of depressing. But they like the people, his dad, his friend's dad. The one thing we didn't bring up yet is that there's not one single woman in this movie. Oh, yeah. Because I don't know what happened to all the moms of these like kids, but I don't know, Kelly.
Okay, so literally a year ago, probably to the day, I'm like, Campbell, watch this movie with me. I've already watched it, but watch it with me and we'll record for Horror Rewind a Christmas episode. I'm like, oh, guess what? I don't think we should record because there's no women in this movie, and the only women are definitely in the background and they don't have any lines.
I did actually find it strange that, like, I could see if there was, like, just a bunch of dudes up there mining and, like, doing this stuff, and there was no women, but there was, like, kids and stuff, and it was just kind of weird that they never mentioned.
And they referred to the women.
They did?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
What did they say they were?
I don't remember, but they said, like, that they stole the wife's hairdryer, but then we never see them.
Yeah. Well, that was that one
Yeah.
other guy, but yeah, I don't know. It seemed weird, like, that they weren't like, hey, your mom left or your mom passed away or something. Especially on Christmas, they were, it just seemed real desolate up there, and the kid's, like, ready for this nice Christmas meal, and his dad just made gingerbread cookies, and it was just like, what are we going to have for dinner? And it was just like, yeah, you're, these gingerbread cookies. He's like, well, what if I just eat a few of them? And he's like, yeah, I have some more. So he just, like, poured all the cookies on his plate.
Oh, yeah, because he wanted to go see what was in the trap because, like, something had taken the pig's head that they'd put over it because they wanted to catch wolves, I think. And they found that elf in there, and they didn't know that he was an elf, so... Yeah, the kid wanted to go look at the trap if he ate all his cookies, and then then the dad poured all the cookies on his plate, so then he wouldn't be able to go look, hopefully.
Yeah, so they ended up catching one of... I thought they kind of made you think it might be the main Santa or creature, whatever you want to call it, but it was just one of his elves, but it looked a lot like Santa. Just an older... He wasn't fat, though. But he had a long white beard and stuff. But then he seemed to come back to life almost. Yeah. Yeah, because especially near Christmas. I mean, very magical elf. But yeah, they were about ready to like pretty much saw him up and like kill him. Yeah, because they.
Oh, which today we literally viewed a TikTok about a Florida woman who dismembered... a neighbor? Yeah. She dismembered her neighbor who owed her money?
Yeah.
And
then she tried to cook the body or something. Yeah.
All fried green tomatoes. Anyway. Yeah, they were ready to, like, chop up the body. Like, oh, yeah, they took the passport off the guy, and it said, like, John Williams from, like, Florida, USA or something. So I thought that was kind of weird.
the Americans are the bad guys. P.S.
It was the passport of that main guy who was running the drilling thing. Not like the old man, but it was like the guy who was running the drill. It was that guy's passport that he took.
But so, Kelly, there was one thing in here that was, you said like a Finnish like tradition where if you don't want to fall asleep, you like hold your keys over something metal. So
Yes, you hold something metal over another metal, and I think in the movie they did keys, but I literally heard this when I went to Solo Lumpy, shout out Concordia Language Villages, but if you hold something like a spoon or keys or whatever over a metal bowl or whatever it is, when you fall asleep, your hand releases it and it's loud enough to wake you up. And so Beatri, was that his name? Did that, and one time it woke him up, but I think another time it didn't.
Yeah, like the keys got caught on something and it like didn't hit the thing. That's when everything went bad. So I guess the moral of the story is if he had done that right with the keys and hit the thing, everything would be different.
But also, as I've been encouraging my children during COVID, set an alarm and label it, because that will tell you what you need to do at that moment. But also, Campbell, as your alarm has been going off for multiple days, you definitely don't wake up when it goes off.
So, yeah, Campbell, you either have to set your alarm to like a higher volume, probably.
I have it at full volume.
Oh, so Campbell needs to set a different like tone, because it's like this like very peaceful like tone.
Super relaxing.
Yeah, so I go in there every day halfway across our house hearing it, and he's just like sleeping 2 feet from it.
So it should be like...
Yes, exactly. We need that one. We don't need the one you have, so please change that.
All right, I will after this.
What are you going to change it to?
I'm going to try to find one of those. I'm pretty sure there's one of those like...
Or maybe you should just put some keys in your hand. I don't know.
All right, we need to rank this, friends. Mark, lead the charge.
So we're gonna rank it on a scale 1 to 10. What should our scale be, Campbell? So I will say really quick, and I'm gonna shout out to myself here. So the one of the kids' dads was dressing up like Santa for the evening festivities, and then everything went bad. So he was and then they were gonna chop up this elf guy, but he ended up stealing that guy's suit. So he ended up wearing a Santa suit, so he looked like Santa, but he was just an elf. Should we do the Santa suits? Yeah, Santa suits.
Santa suits or elves. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. One more thing I think we should talk about is why it's called rare exports. Is at the end of the movie, when they, spoiler alert, they blow up Santa Claus with a bunch of TNT and dynamite. Pretty much
sentence that people say.
Pretty much they said these 200 elves are now jobless. So then they wash them and train them to be mall Santas. And then at the end they pack them in a crate to each country, and then they just ship them off on a plane.
Yeah, I know that. I didn't think of that till the end. Why is it called rare exports? But that was pretty cool. That was creative. And yeah, then when they actually killed the huge Santa creature, and they had all these elf guys who were aimless, they're okay. Because they sold one for $85,000?
Oh yeah, they sold one for $85,000.
Yeah, they're gonna sell them.
Yeah, so they're gonna sell about 200 of them for $85,000. I think they said the total amount was $16,800 million or something around that price range. That was, I don't know, I don't remember.
Well, should we do it on our phone here?
Okay. I think the official number was 198. I think that's what they said in the movie. 198 times 85,000. Yep, that's about what I remember it being.
Ooh, Campbell was right. It's basically $17 million. So good job, buddy. So how many Santa suits do you give Rare Exports, Campbell?
I give it 10. I don't know. I really just thought it was a good movie. I haven't really seen a lot of, I guess, Finnish horror movies before, and this was a really good one. Yeah, it's my first, but if all the rest are pretty similar to this, then I want to watch them.
Sounds good. Kelly, how about you?
Guess what? Also 10 out of 10. Finnish horror is next level. And guess what? In our next book, The Science of Serial Killers, we talk about the most famous serial killer in Finland's history, the Lake Bodom murderer. And I got to interview the director/writer of that film.
Wow. A couple tens, that's hard to... I'm going to give it a 3. Just kidding. I'm going to give it an 8. It was very good. I enjoyed all the Finnish aspects of it. It was a good story. It was original. I'll definitely give it that. And I enjoyed it, so I would recommend giving it a watch. You have to read some subtitles, but, is what it is.
Also, subtitles are not death, as some people might claim.
But I tried to watch El Presidente with you, and you turned it off in 5 minutes.
No, it wasn't subtitled, though. It was doing the dubbed thing, and that's not great, Bob.
Yeah, so it was a show about, like, the corruption and, like, the FIFA soccer thing, but it was, like, probably originally in Spanish, but it was, like, dubbed into English, so it was like, hey, Mr. Jones, what's going on? And, like, the lips don't match it at all, so it's very distracting, so I get it. Sorry.
No, it's okay. Like, not all, also, caveat, not all dubbed things are trash, but at the same time, like, we're in a pandemic and we need to choose what we are watching at this point.
I disagree. I would say we're in a pandemic. We have lots of time on our hands. We can watch whatever we want. So, sorry.
Okay, so look for the tweet where I announce my divorce from Mark. Just kidding.
Wow. Over El Presidente. Wow.
Until next time, we'll see you in the horror section.
Bye.
See you in the horror section. Goodbye.